It's being called America's first snap election, to quote Politico, at a moment when presidential campaigns traditionally formulate their closing arguments. Kamala Harris is still making her introductions. But with 2 months to go, and traditionally the time voters really start tuning in, the vice president faces a big challenge. NBC's Steve Kornacki is at the big board digging into the numbers. Okay, post-Labor Day, the beginning of the end, we traditionally look at it in politics. Where do things stand?
Yeah, let's take a look at it a couple of ways, Chris, here. So nationally, what you're seeing here, this is the average of the polls nationally. Kamala Harris with a 3-point advantage over Donald Trump. You could look at this a few ways. From the Democrats' perspective, certainly they're happy to be ahead. They're also happy that this is an improvement for them from where Joe Biden was. He was basically trailing Trump in the polling all year. From the Republican standpoint, though, they could take solace in the fact that Donald Trump is no stranger to being in this position at Labor Day. In fact, this 3-point gap that he has right now, that's actually better for him than it was in 2016 when he ran against Hillary Clinton. He trailed by 5.
Do you think that is the polls really count? I mean, really, I kind of believe. So it's weird how they pick 1,400 people here or 5,000 people here, or sometimes even smaller amounts, and they come up pretty close to being accurate. But isn't it strange that one of those? Well, I know Trump is being who he is. He got his message out there. His people know who he is. Isn't it weird though that Kamala hasn't really come out and solidified her constituency by just saying something that sounds like it's coming from her? Because am I the only one who's picking it up, or it sounds like she can't really speak? She's just doing like a little campaign tour, but with no press, no real substance to anything. I don't see how anyone who is supporting Kamala could be secure or safe or feeling happy about anything she's saying, because it don't make a lot of sense.
At this point, Trump, of course, went on to win that election. 2020, Trump trailed Biden by even more, almost double digits around Labor Day. Trump didn't win the election, but of course, he made it very close in the Electoral College, and that really becomes the question. The road to 270, we're going to be giving this a lot of use in the next 63 days. In gray, you see them here. These are the core battleground states. So from Harris's perspective, what would be the most efficient way, the simplest way, the cleanest way for her to get to 270? Again, all sorts of possible paths on here. But when you look at the state polling right now, the first thing you could say is all of it is close, a lot of it very, very close. But the Democrats are doing a little bit better in, call them the Great Lakes states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. So if Harris were able to just carry those 3 states, all of them went for Biden in 2020, and just for the sake of argument, if you turn them blue now, you see what it does. It would bring Harris to exactly 270 electoral votes. Now, if she starts losing these states, she needs to compensate for it in some of these Sun Belt states, and particularly the one of these 3 the Trump campaign is investing right now the heaviest in is Pennsylvania. Now, if Trump were to get Pennsylvania, 2 things would happen. From Harris's standpoint, she would then, because Pennsylvania is the largest of the swing states, it would take 2 states from the Sun Belt for Harris to make up for the loss of 1 Pennsylvania. But also, if Trump were to get Pennsylvania, that would open up for him what is his simplest, cleanest, most efficient path to 270. It would simply...
You know, one thing I never could understand is when races are this close, especially in the last few presidential elections. When it's this close, you think a president will pull out all the stops, a candidate, and be like, I'm going for this shit, I want to win. But they act like they don't, or they act like they want to win, but they want to commit as little as possible. And I think it's because they commit so much to the donors and to the people with the money and the people who they consider to be powerful. Hell, I believe even people like Obama have requests and get their little things taken care of. He's that former Democratic president. Why wouldn't she if she got in and he kind of nudged her in a particular way, or got someone pardoned, or who knows what the hell they do up there? But what we need to do down here is start acting like we got some damn sense and stop arguing with folks. I've run into a lot of new YouTubers lately, and what I find is I ain't found nobody like me, and most of them that I've found are individual in their own right. It seems like they kind of have a idea, a belief, a way of thinking that's just a little bit unique. You might hate Kamala as much as they do, and you can link up on that part, but then when you start talking about Trump, They seem to be a little more protective and apprehensive. And I feel kind of equally about both of them. They're the worst candidates I think we could possibly ask for. I felt the same way about Biden and Trump, and I felt the same way about Hillary and Trump. Just the worst group of candidates you could ask for. And then we're left with the responsibility to vote one of them into office, and without them offering us very much, because they can't really jeopardize their self with the people with the money. And if they start taking too much care of the folks down here on the ground, there's no way they'll be able to accommodate the folks up top, because there's a lot going on up there that we don't know about. But come on, you guys, we got to pay attention though. And if we start communicating differently, and they see us communicating differently down here and acting differently, and doing things at these rallies and these dumbass impromptus that they pop up at your workplace, when they do that, you got to be ready for them. That's your moment. That's your chance. And don't be thinking about going viral. Thinking about getting inside their head and letting them know, yeah, I work at a chicken place, or yeah, I work at a coffee shop. But you came in here and you're about to listen to what I got to say. You shouldn't have came in here. And don't let no cameras be on. You can really let it go.
Would be this: get Pennsylvania, hold on to North Carolina. This is the only one of the core battleground states that Trump carried in 2020. So if he hangs on to that, and then Georgia.
And North Carolina is one of those battleground states that the Democrats are hanging their hat on. I mean, I think Kamala Harris was saying in the interview she had with CNN that they had visited the state 17 times. I mean, 17 times just campaigning, not because they were fixing tainted water or a railroad or a natural disaster. 17 times when they're campaigning. Wouldn't you love for a president to have an issue in a state and go there 17 times till he hammered it out and got it? That's probably never happened. But for a campaign, there's no length they won't go to.
Went for Biden by just under 12,000 votes, very, very narrow in 2020, had gone for Trump in 16. If Trump can win Georgia back with holding on to Carolina and flipping Pennsylvania, suddenly it's Trump who's at exactly 270 electoral votes, Chris.
All right, Steve Kornacki, thank you.
Wow. So what do y'all think? Is this polling accurate? Should we give a damn? Should we just lock down on what we believe in, and hopefully a voting bloc of black people will merge? Because from what I'm hearing about this immigrant population that's coming in here, they're coming in here with a significant amount of bad guys. What's going on? They got folks in the street linking up who was enemies for decades, and now they feel like they need each other to survive, looking like. So what's going on out there? These polling numbers telling us something? Probably not. But you guys pay attention and quit fighting each other, because this kind of stuff here is ridiculous. 3 points here, 2 points here. If you got a cousin, a mother, a brother, a co-worker, somebody who you argue with, continue to talk to them about politics, but stop the arguing. Listen them out and hear what their side is. It might make absolutely no sense to you, but it makes sense to them. And be respectful. And with that, we're off. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe and comment. We need some interaction, folks. And we'll see you on the next one.